Joining me today. My name is Leon Goman, and I'm the town administrator for the town of Sturbridge. And I wanted to share some information with you folks today. And one of the subjects that we're going to talk about is our relatively new Veterans Service Officer, Stephen Gagnon, who's joining me here today. We're going to talk about the duties of the Veteran Service Officer and a little bit about Stephen so that you folks can get to know him and know how to contact him with any requests for services. It's a very important position that we have in the town, and we want to share that information with as many residents as humanly possible. So welcome aboard, Stephen. How's it been going as our new Veteran Service Officer?
It's been going great. I've been doing the role now for just over a year, started in June 2017, and it's been great. I replaced Tim Hickey, who equipped me with plenty of knowledge to get me going here. I've also was working out of Rutland as well as a Veteran Service Officer, so I have some experience, but gaining every day.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Why did you decide that you wanted to be a Veteran Service Officer?
Sure. So I'm an Army veteran, National Guard with the 181 Infantry out of Worcester. I served from 2006 to 2012 and deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. And ultimately, I was an intelligence analyst, so part of actually acquiring information and intelligence and resources is kind of ingrained in me a little bit. So recently, I started working with the VA in housing and learned that I became quite good at trying to find resources and certain benefits for veterans in that area. And my father, Tim Gagnon, who's actually the VSO for the Spencer, Massachusetts in East Brookfield, kind of gave me an idea about what the Veteran Service Officer position was like, and so I became interested in it. I like the idea of finding a broad range of benefits that could really help veterans of all different ilks, federal, state, local, and so you know, I became good at acquiring that information, and I thought that it would be great to, being a Sturbridge resident, being the VSO for the town. I think that I bring a great skill set to actually disseminate information that veterans can use, and especially veterans that don't know that the benefits are out there that can help them.
Well, it's good that this is one of those positions that being a Sturbridge resident is actually a real good benefit, so that you get a chance to kind of know these people, not only professionally, but even also personally as well. You can have a chance to interact socially with some of these people on a regular basis, whereas if you were coming from out of town, that might not be something that you could do very easily.
Absolutely, I agree. And there's a challenge of Rutland for sure, and I think that my proximity in Sturbridge, living here, you know, being embedded a little bit with the American Legion, getting to know Phil, and really kind of having neighbors who are veterans. You know, driving by, seeing the red numbers on the side of the houses that indicate someone's a veteran and served. It's amazing to see how many vets are around here, and just goes to show there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, tell me about the benefits that a veteran would be entitled to in Massachusetts or at the federal side of things.
Sure. I suppose we'll start with federal. Federally, there's VA is federal. Anything that you get that's Veteran Affairs or Veteran Administration is federal. A lot of veterans would call me just to inquire about letters that they would get from there. So it's important to know that that's federal. The benefits with the VA really vary. They're very broad, many of which the eligibility requirements have to do with the type of service you had, the eras in which you were had served, and also there are income guidelines depending on the benefit that you're going to be utilizing or seeking for the VA. And so really, when it comes to VA benefits, because they're so vast, it's really important for the veteran to understand what their needs are. And if they have a need, then exploring federal benefits with the VA is a great one. I always like to tell folks to actually, if they're a veteran, to enroll in VA healthcare, because that's really the first step in attaining any federal benefits with the VA. And if they had ever been injured or ever gotten ill or while in the service and aren't being compensated for with a service-connected disability, that's another avenue to explore as well. So federally, it could be a really long-form conversation to really kind of navigate what someone's needs are and what the federal government and the VA can actually do to help them. Stateside, there's a benefit that Massachusetts residents have, which is unique to Massachusetts, called Chapter 115. Chapter 115 is a benefit that helps veterans who are having difficulties income-wise. Now, this could be related to lack of employment. What would happen is they could apply, and every veteran is it's their right to be able to apply and cannot be turned away to apply. And certain eligibility requirements and income requirements have to be met, but they could get some local subsidy payments to help them get through to either find their next job, or a lot of elderly veterans who are on fixed incomes who receive very little to live off each month. I really strongly urge those folks to come and see me as well, because if you're a veteran, you're eligible in that regard, as well as any income limitations you may have. A lot of it's dependent related and so on and so forth, but it's very easily you can get cash in hand and get some assistance monthly to live off of. It's a good benefit. If you have questions about it or any eligibility questions about it, please feel free to get in touch with me, because I can certainly go through your income and eligibility. It varies from person to person, but it's an important benefit that I think is very underutilized. And even veterans that don't get a monetary monthly ordinary benefit from that Chapter 115, they may still be able to get certain medications reimbursed, co-pays for doctors reimbursed, and that sort of thing, which for folks who have very costly out-of-pocket medication expenses, that could be a huge help for them as well. So I really urge anybody who has any questions about that to feel free to contact me. And it won't take long to figure out if I can just unofficially give you an idea of whether I think you'll be eligible or not when doing the application. But it's important to note that everybody, any veteran is capable, and it's their right to be able to fill out an application for benefits for 115.
So Massachusetts is somewhat unique in the country in that we have quite an aggressive veteran service that we offer by municipalities in the state. I know a lot of states don't have the same kind of veteran service officer program that we have in Massachusetts. It basically shows the commitment that we have here, not only at the state level, but locally as well. We budget every year for some of these benefits that you're talking about. So it does show the commitment that we've made to our men and women who've served our country admirably, over the years, that we're going to be here to help them when they were there to help us.
I agree, absolutely. It is a great thing, and I will say though, as great as it is, it's very confusing with all the.
Which is why you're here.
Exactly, right. So all the benefits that are out there for veterans, all the organizations that claim to be helping veterans, it's a tough sea to navigate for sure. So that's why VSOs are here. We're here as a liaison to get you to the benefits that you need, and to figure out what's available to you that you otherwise may not be aware of.
So the state and federal forms that you have to fill out to get any of these benefits are probably quite extensive. They can be complicated. They might not be written in plain speak language. It may be written in government speak. Your job essentially is to help them fill out the application and to submit it on their behalf?
Absolutely. And it's important to note that spouses of military veterans as well may not really understand the language of what a DD-214 is, for example, a discharge paper. I've had spouses of deceased veterans, widows, have called me and have had trouble understanding the military jargon of what's what and what do I need to bring to you. I don't understand what this means. What's a discharge date and that sort of thing. And I'll help them with that as well. And to that point, it's important to note that spouses of veterans are also eligible for certain benefits as well. So if you're a spouse and if your loved one, veteran husband had passed away, or veteran wife had passed away, and you'd like to come in and ask about what kind of benefits may be available to you, I could certainly help you figure that out as well. So it's important to note that it's also, the veterans who serve, but it's also the spouses that serve as well, for sure.
Good. So tell us, how does someone contact you if they have questions? Where is your office? Where do you meet with people? How do you get phone calls or emails? Tell me how
Absolutely.
people can contact you.
Sure. So I have limited hours in the town for walk-in hours. I'm available at the center office building at the town hall at 301 Main Street. And I'm available the second Monday of the month from 9 to 12 a.m. Or you can meet me at the last Monday of the month from 9 to 12 a.m. In the morning over at the Senior Center down the street off of Route 20. And the address for that will lose me right now. But you can meet me there as well. If you need to get in touch with me, I have two numbers. I have an office number for non-urgent matters. You can contact me at 508-347-2500. The extension is 1409. Or for any urgent matters, if you need to get in touch with me right away, I can get back to you within a day or two. You can contact me on my cell phone, which is 520-508-4364. Be glad to help you out in any way I can. And I can also do appointments as well. If Monday's tough to get in touch with me or to meet up with my walking hours to set up an appointment then, I can always meet you on another day of the week. Evening times, what have you. It's another benefit of being a Sturbridge resident. I'm right down the street, so feel free to get in touch with me anytime you need to.
Great. I wish you the very best in your position, and I know that the work that you and your fellow veteran service officers do in this state is tremendously valuable and appreciated by our veterans community. Before I let you go, talk to me about your interactions with the American Legion and how that works.
Sure. So I've been in touch with Phil Corville, who's I believe he's the headmaster down there. I guess you could say the general. I don't know his official title really. I'm still new to the Legion talk there, but sure. So they're down on Route 20. And we work together. We make sure that we reimburse them to help them out. The town definitely helps them out get through the winter and helps put on different ceremonies with the parades for Veterans Day, Memorial Day as well. We make sure that we help them to get the supplies they need to flag the cemeteries as well. They do a great job with that every year. And they really, they do a great job in general. They have a great function hall space down there. And the few times that I've been so far, and I'm not a member yet, but I'd like to be, they've really welcomed me with open arms. I mean, I think a lot of times VFW halls, people have a certain idea in their head what they may be like. But, everyone that I've met there so far has been extremely gracious and very nice and willing to work with me and on top of things. So, I really thank them for helping me get adjusted to this role as well, because I know that there is some coordination for Veterans Day and Memorial Day services that happen. But I'm still learning with the American Legion and how we can make our relationship even closer and maybe even being a member soon. I'd like to maybe try to see how many other veterans are in the area that could fill some of the ranks there. I know that there is a generational gap there with a lot of the legions in the state, so we'd like to try to narrow that gap if we can. But I'm still learning, and I do like what I've seen so far with what they have to offer down there. They do a great job.
Mr. Gagnon, I wish you the very best in your career here in Sturbridge, and for all the good work that you do. I want to thank you and your fellow officers for all the work that you do.
Thank you so much.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
I'd like to spend a few moments talking to the residents of the town of Sturbridge. As you probably have heard, this is my last week as the town administrator here in the town of Sturbridge. I've served the town for almost 3.5 years as your town administrator, and I'll be moving on to take over as the town manager in the town of Weston, Massachusetts, beginning on the 19th of September. I want you to know that my tenure here, although brief by my own admission, has been one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done in my life. I'm a Western Mass person, and Sturbridge was always one of those communities that I've had a very close affiliation with since I was young. I was one of those people growing up in Springfield that Old Sturbridge Village was one of the annual trips that our school would go on to if we were good during the year, and we always seemed to be good enough to go to Old Sturbridge Village. Sturbridge has always had, in my mind, a reputation of being one of the premier towns in the central and western part of the state. And I've been honored to be able to follow in the footsteps of some very good people as your town administrator. I really appreciated the opportunity given to me back in 2015 by the Board of Selectmen in their confidence in choosing me to fill this role. And it's been my pleasure to work for the Board of Selectmen all these many years as well. I will miss them and their leadership in the town very much. I also want to acknowledge the staff and department heads that we have here in the town of Sturbridge. I'm very proud of the work that they do for the town of Sturbridge and the people of Sturbridge. I've been very blessed to have to work with some of the best people that I've ever had to work with in my career. I will miss them as well, but the town of Sturbridge should know that we have some very good people working for the town, and you are in very good hands. I'd also like to take a moment to commend the members of our residents that are serving on boards and committees. The fact of the matter is that we have a lot of committees that work for the town, and they give up a lot of their hours, their volunteer hours, time away from their family and friends and loved ones and their work in order to serve the town of Sturbridge in making good decisions on their behalf. I'll miss working with them as well. The many, many, many elected and appointed boards and committees that do give up their time on behalf of the residents of the town. But most importantly, I'd like to thank the residents of the town of Sturbridge. You folks have really welcomed me with open arms since I've started here back in 2015. You've made my family and I feel very comfortable and very happy here. And I will miss dearly working on behalf of you folks. We've had some very good times. We had some difficult times over the years as well, but many, many, many more good times than we had bad times. And I just want to thank you all for all the work that you've done working with me, whether it's as a supervisor, as a member of the Board of Selectmen, as a co-worker working with me as a staff person or a board or committee, or as one of the residents of the town. You've made my time here very enjoyable, and I will miss you all very much. Until next time, this is Leon Goman, the town administrator, for now, signing off, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you.